Okay, we're now going to look at adding and subtracting in different bases. Now, technically, you could answer any of these questions by converting all the numbers to base 10, doing the calculation in base 10, then converting back to whatever base they want you to give your answer in. However, we're actually going to look at how we can answer these questions by keeping the numbers in the original base given in the question. So first, we're going to take a quick trip back to primary school, okay, and we're going to go through a base 10 addition. So I know this is of course going to be very basic for you. However, it's important to understand that essentially you're doing the same process when you're in other bases as well. So we do need to discuss this first. Okay, so what we're going to do is line up our place values in the column method. Okay, so both numbers are base 10. Now you start, if put the addition symbol there to indicate addition. Okay, you start by going to the ones column and you're going to do 6 ones plus 5 ones. Okay, which would give you 11 ones. Now you don't write 11 below the line, okay, because you recognize that actually you could go to that 11, okay, and you could convert it into, by taking 10 ones from it and converting it into 110, and then there's going to be 1 1 left over. So what you might do next is write your 1 1 in here, and then you would carry your 110 over. Okay, now we're working in our tens column. We got 2 tens plus 3 tens plus 1 10, so that's going to give me 6 tens. Okay, so the final answer would just be 61. Now we started exchanging or carrying, okay, when this number that we got here gets to 10 or above, okay, because we're in base 10. So if we now look at our next calculation, which is base 7, that carrying is going to start once we get 7 or above. So let's write out our calculation in our column setup, like that. Okay, so we're going to start by doing the 2 ones plus the 6 ones, okay, which would give you 8 ones, okay, technically. However, because we're working base 7, we can't have an 8 in our answer. Okay, the highest digit we can have is a 6. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert that 8, okay, into 1 7, and then we'd have 1 1 left over to make the 8. Okay, and that 1 1 goes here, and then that 1 7 gets carried into the next column, which is the 7s. Okay, so then we've got 1 7 plus 3 7s, which is 4 7s plus another 1, so it's 5 7s. So the final answer is 5 1 base 7. Okay, let's look at one more addition. Okay, we got some 3-digit numbers. We're working in base 5, so once we get 5 or above, that's when we're going to start carrying. So let's set up our addition. Okay, so we have our 1 1 plus our 4 ones, which gives me 5 ones. However, that's 5 or above, so we can exchange the 5 ones for 1 5. And of course, then we've got 0 ones left over. Okay, so a 0 goes here. Okay, and then that 1 5 we can write down there. Right, so what we got next then is we got a 1 5 plus 0 5s plus 4 5s. So we have a total of 5 5s. Okay, once again, that's 5 or above. Okay, so what we can do is convert all of those 5 5s into 125, which is our next base value column. Okay, so I'm going to write a 1 down here. And of course, 5 5s is equal to 25, so that means we've carried everything over, so we're left with 0. Okay. Then finally, we got 125 plus another 25 plus another 25, so that's going to be 3 25s. Okay, so the final answer is 300 base 5. Okay, and that's addition.